I'm Susan Wood. We're here at the Grand Little America Hotel in Salt Lake City, Utah. It's warm and cozy by the fire and we're having a great day. I was asked to be the chair of the Adopt a School program. I was hired and was asked to have our 90 schools adopt 50 business partners and vice versa within 90 days. I asked that we have business people job shadow the principal at school. And they did. And it was then that they learned just what a principal is up against. I asked them to job shadow a teacher. I mean, these are parents, they know the teachers, but I asked them to sit in the classroom and see what these teachers are needing to do and just how magnificent the teachers are. We had lots of job shadowing of teachers in the business world so that they could understand what the business world is about. This is what we call bridging the gap. It's a huge job. I think we made headway, not nearly enough. I think you could form a full program on just that. You sit down, you develop strategies and tactics and goals. I mean, it's just as old as the hills, but it works, and we follow them. And we set deadlines to our plan, and then we went for it. And of course, the next thing was enthusiasm. You know, our business people had connections. We worked hard. We had children on our committee at each grade level. And we asked them, does this mean anything to you? Do you understand? How can you help us? We listened to the children. That was key to our success. For the last many years, they have been streaming into our schools as partners. And they're doing anything and everything that, say, the principal or the coordinator of the Adopt a School program or the teacher want. Each school is different. They have a different population of kids. One may need one thing and another. These are all very unique, sweet, small or great big large partnerships. And they're there to help. We like it most when the people from the business come in and volunteer to help read, to help with math, to help with science, to share their expertise, both their stories, their personal stories. Sometimes they don't even talk about their work. They just talk about who they are and where they come from. It's wonderful. We've had children who simply would never have learned to read, and therefore would have dropped out of school way early. So we know that that's happened on a number of occasions. We have found children who were hungry at home. Businesses have come in with food. We found children without clothes. They've come in with clothing. We've had children who didn't have any idea really what education was all about and why they were there. We've had the light go on. We've found that they found children who now know what they want to be and where they're going to go. And I guess most of all, we've given them hope. And that's simply by being with them, with these adults. We know that their people are more productive at work, happier employees, stay longer, don't want to leave. What more would a business want than that? How do you keep your people at work? How do you keep them from going elsewhere? They're in the competitive environment today. Well, one way is to have your company adopt a school, because there is something at that company that they may not find elsewhere. We call it Lunch with the Principal. And each Friday afternoon, the principal would choose several children from her school or his school who she wanted to get to know them better. This was an incentive, it was a reward, and then off she would go. And all of our food service people played a role in this. We have McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, all of them lined up. So that then every Friday afternoon these principals with their students go in. Their lunch is provided, they visit, they have a great time together. And we learned after a while of this happening between these two people, partners, that someone was watching. Well, one week, after several weeks, the principal missed taking the children over. You can't always be there. Something came up and she didn't go, so the next week she went in and, excuse me, and the gentleman in a beautiful plaid shirt walked up to her and said, "Where were you last week?" And she said, "Well, I had a conflict and that we couldn't come, but we're back this week. And by the way, who are you?" He said, "Well, you know, we've been coming here for quite a long time, and we come in the afternoons, and we have our lunch, and we visit, and we come every Friday. And after a while, then we noticed that you were coming in with the kids, and it just brightened our entire day. Now we don't ever miss. We have another reason for coming. Rather than just, you know, hanging out with our veteran buddies, by the way, we come to see the children. And so we want to encourage you in keeping this up, because you have brought something to our lives that we didn't have before. And so we thank you for this." Well, so she told me the story of a little girl who was coming to school every day and not groomed at all, very few clothes, smelling horribly, just not making it, so the kids were giving her a rough time. Also 2 brothers, this in the same set, different grades. And they had been here, they had been there, the social workers were working out the different, you know, services in the community, but they didn't kind of fall right in the one place. Well, as it turns out, when they finally asked the question as to why is this happening, they learned that the children were being locked in their rooms each night. The minute they arrived home from school, they were locked in their rooms, they were never cleaned or bathed or fed. And the reason for this, when asked, was, well, if we are allowed to come out, then we will eat the food. And our parents don't want us to, and so they lock us up. It was just so moving. And there wasn't anyone really who could help, given all of the rules, the regulations, the stands, the this, the that services have. It just fell, you know, into the cracks, so the money came in. We've hired someone. We now have, since October, we have results. And what is happening with these children? We have 19 children in the school. So 3 days a week, this person, for almost nothing, comes in and helps them and gives them the attention, takes them out of the classroom, helps them read, talks to them. What is the trouble? What can I do? Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday again before they go home. And she isn't bound by anything. So she doesn't have to be a social worker, she doesn't have to be a teacher, she doesn't have to be Title I, she doesn't have to be a teacher's aide. If anyone is unhappy with the way she's doing something, the principal says, hands off, she's mine. We're not accounting to anyone. This money doesn't come from anyone. It's a personal thing. And there's our secret, Daphne. It just isn't right if we are not loved in this world. It isn't right if we can't go to someone and know they'll hold us tight. It's wrong. And I stand for right. I stand for affection. I stand for big hugs. And I mean, I would like all children to have what I have, and it isn't happening. In this country, within this little state that I know, within this tiny little community, in that home, and in those fields that I walked, and with Mother Nature surrounding us, I had everything. And that's what I want for the little ones. They deserve it. I learned more about the grand community we have. It just brought me back to the basics of my upbringing. I'm glad I hadn't been a volunteer before. I was in an entirely different space. I hadn't wanted to do these other things. I loved doing them. I just was lifted. And I think that my success in the business world and my essence was just fed. And it's just been a grand experience.